Thank you. It's really a privilege to be here, to be asked to participate in any way that any of us can toward bringing voice to people who are too often voiceless. I had the privilege to go to Israel for the 4th time in my life in May, and I had about 4 or 5 days before we were shooting the parts of the first 3 episodes of Homeland in Israel. It was to double as Beirut, and I had about 4 or 5 days free, so I made some phone calls, and people found out I was going, so they made some calls before I did, and my friends from Peace Now and some other organizations. And I hit the ground running the minute I got there. I never stopped. I immersed myself immediately for 5 days before I started filming, and I went all over the West Bank with extraordinary people, guides, teachers. I went back to Hebron, where I'd been 30 years ago when we were pregnant with our first child, Isaac. And I saw the devastation of this city and what had taken place in the past 30 years, and I was heartbroken. I eventually ended up in Ramallah. I met an extraordinary human being who was equal to Gandhi as far as I was concerned, named Fadi Quran. You will hear about him if you haven't already. 23-year-old Stanford graduate who simply said to me, "We want freedom, justice, and dignity for all humanity. Is there anything unreasonable about that?" And I said no. So, the most extraordinary moment after 3 days of witnessing so much of the conflict was I was asked if I would just say hello at a Peace Now conference. But the way I was asked is I just come from this tsunami-like wave of information that overwhelmed my heart, my soul, my being. In so many ways that you've heard a million times. I just encourage you, though, there is no one that cannot go over there and witness what I witnessed. There are just some laws that some Israeli citizens can't go to Ramallah, but they're allowed to go other places too. And you need to go there and walk there. You need to go there. First, you need to see the films in a festival like this, but you need to walk those roads. You need to see where only Jews are allowed to walk. And Palestinians who live right here have to go all the way around the block. But the Jews can walk around right there. And Jews can only ride on certain streets and highways. And Palestinians are forbidden, and they live right there. And it kills you. And you know it's not sustainable. And you know that there are people with very gifted hearts, minds, and souls that can figure out how to fix it, how to begin fixing it. And our job, as far as I'm concerned, till we take our last breath, is never to stop trying. There are people who I can understand have suffered great loss on both sides of the conflict. And even here, everyone has suffered loss. But for those who can stand up and sit at the table, you must never leave that table of discussion till you take your last breath. And the most hopeful moment I had was when I walked into the Peace Now office. And I sat there with all of these young people, very young people. The oldest person was about 35, and they were filled with hope and optimism about the conflict and about finding a solution. And many of them, Hagit in particular, who's an extraordinary individual, believes that within her lifetime, even under Netanyahu's administration, that peace can be found and a two-state solution can be made, and that this can happen in her time. And to see that as a reality, to feel that energy with those people, just changed my life. It took my sadness and my heartbrokenness and filled me with hope. So, to now come to a festival where you get to put voice to the Palestinian Israelis who don't get enough time, don't get enough airtime, don't have enough rights, even though they're Israeli citizens, trust me, it's not a full deck. This is a mitzvah. And it's nothing short of a mitzvah to let people, to listen to people who other people won't listen to. So I congratulate the founders, and I congratulate all of you, and please tell your friends to come, because it is our job to keep listening, paying attention, asking questions, and finding out what we can do until there is peace in the heart of the world. Thank you.